moment. And it'll edit just that section that we've highlighted. And there we go. And it revised that to reflect it. It'll change that to graduate level. A couple different use cases there. The only other thing I'll note is on the left side over here. And as you can see, it makes it a lot more interesting there. On the left side, this is where you would edit the entire document. So again, this is the chat. This is the canvas. I'm going into the canvas. And I'm going to say on the left, add a Spanish translation below and add an Arabic translation below that. And when you do this on the left side of the chat, it'll edit the entire document. So you'll see that, it'll go through. It's now providing English, Spanish, Arabic translations. Again, you could do this for individual sections or the entire document, but I just wanted to call out some of these powerful tools within Canvas and the ability to actually, edit the entire document, individual sections, and the translation capabilities. So that's a really powerful use case for ChatGPT for teachers and using Canvas. All right. And bear with me here. So now we're going to get into image gen. So if you're lost a bit and you're trying to find where the deck is, you can, again, access this over here. Sorry, I'm just going to make that larger. And now we're going to get into image gen. So another powerful aspect of ChatGPT for teachers is the fact that we have image gen built in. And I think everybody gets 3 a day, which I think is great helpful. So I'm going to put in a prompt here, which I think is also very helpful. Oops. So folks can copy this prompt on slide 27. And again, if you've already put in your custom instructions, it should recognize your role in district or school or location. But I put this in here just in case. And this is one way that you can prompt and create these images. So we're going to go in. Excuse me. I'm starting a new chat. And I'm going to say I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Anchorage Public Schools. Create a bright classroom safe water cycle diagram aligned to, again, you could put your relevant standards in there. ChatGPT should know the relevant standards based upon your location as long as you're putting in those contexts that it needs. Show 4 stages: evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection. Show big labels and simple arrows. Include student-friendly captions under 8 words under each stage. So again, it's better to over-describe what you're looking for. Another thing that I'll note here is if you want to always ensure that it creates an image, you can click Create Image under the plus box. And it'll then start to generate an image based upon this output. So again, really powerful use case for creating images. The other thing I'll note is sometimes, folks, you might get an image that you're not as happy with or you don't like the output that you're getting. Same thing we talked about before. That's where you'll iterate on your prompt using ChatGPT. So maybe if you got a version that has words that are wrong or a location or something that you don't like, you would put in your prompt and you would say, hey, chat, help me optimize this prompt. I'm getting this output. I don't want that. I want to have this particular style, this information included, so on and so forth. Again, use ChatGPT to optimize your prompt and explain the output that you're looking for. So I'll let folks run that. You can check out your images. You can edit that, do whatever you'd like there. And we're going to dive. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm in the wrong window again. So here we go. I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Anchorage Public Schools. To generate that image, I clicked Create Image. And then it'll draft this and that'll finalize in a moment here. In the meantime, I'm now going to jump into how do you organize your chats, right? Oftentimes, if you're like me, after using this for a while, you're going to end up with so many different chats and you're like, how can I structure this in a way that's more relevant and useful for my day-to-day? That's where projects come into play. And let's explain exactly how to utilize those. So if you are in the middle, right, and you're like, how do I open up the side menu? Again, you go to the top left, you open the sidebar, and you're gonna scroll down here to a section called Project. And I'm just gonna call this, research. We'll just do that. So in our 102 session, we're gonna be specifically covering the building of custom GPTs and how to use projects in a collaborative way with other people in your district, how to utilize them in more strategic ways for processes. But today I'm just gonna focus on using them as a structure, and we will dive into that much deeper in 102, which is the next session. So in research, what's great about this is like a drag and drop type of situation. I can go down and I could just grab this pollinators chat and you can just drag it right into there. What that'll do, let me just drag it up here. There we go. And then what that should populate in here, so excuse me. Bear with me, it'll upload those. So you can move chats that way. You can also move them to projects by doing it like this. You click on the chat, you click the 3, you click move to project, and you can like push anything into one of these projects. This is really useful if you're working on sort of an ongoing project or research or whatever it might be. So maybe, for example, I'm aligning the curriculum, right? And we've had tons of changes and I'm wanting to structure all of our curriculum alignment research and everything we're looking into one particular folder. That's a really great way to use this. You can add your chats into here, structure them as you please. In our next session, we're gonna get into a lot more depth on projects and custom GPTs, as I mentioned. But for now, I'm just gonna show a couple basic project settings. Bear with me. We're gonna start a fresh one just so folks can see this. I'm creating a project again, and again, to do that, I go on the left, I click New Project, click this key button, and this is memory of your project, right? So sometimes, right, maybe you're doing some type of research and you don't want it to be pulling in memories from your other chats that you have inside of this workspace, right? Or maybe you just want to make sure that this information, it's only a bubble of information inside of this project and it's not pulling from anything else that you've done inside a chat. That's where memory comes into play. So and you can only set this up when you originally create the project. So as you're creating it, you'll click this. Default means that it'll access memories from outside of this project folder. If you select project only, this folder has no memories or context of anything else you've done in chat. So based upon your use case, you have to decide if that's relevant or not, right? So for this default, you would click create, and then you're able to just add in chats into here. Again, this will be a huge content focus for our next session. So I just wanted to highlight that. All right. And we wanted to keep today a bit high level on 101 to make sure that we could dive into, some baseline use cases. So how do you write effectively using Canvas? How can you utilize voice mode? How do you generate these images? What are the most effective ways to do so? And that was the goal of this presentation. In the next 102 session, we'll be getting into a lot more in depth of how to use connectors, things like Canva and other tools, Google Drive, Office 365, tools like that can integrate into chat. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover projects. So again, today we covered project folders. We're gonna talk about how to use projects for interactive, collaborative work amongst colleagues, right? Or utilizing it for a repetitive task. We're gonna get into custom GPTs and a lot more relevant content there. But again, I just wanted, for the sake of this, call out one more time. I'm so excited about this course, ChatGPT Foundations for Teachers. Again, if you want to access that, ChatGPT Foundations for Teachers course, we will launch over there. And this is where there's tons of modules in here, tons of interactive content. It's super, super exciting. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to Kara and Olivia for doing so much amazing work on that, and all of the teachers and educators that collaborated with us to build this free, powerful course. It's about 4 hours to complete, just to call that out, has 7 different modules, and it's very much so teaches you how to actually use the product. It's not theory. It's all about like, how to use the product, how do I keep my users safe, how do I utilize this in a useful way for me as a teacher. All right. That being said, I would like to thank everybody for your time today. And last but not least, there's some helpful resources in here. Again, if you go to the deck, you can access the OpenAI Academy. We have the forum, our education links. And again, if you are a part of the OpenAI Academy, make sure you do a couple different things here, because we have so much K-12 content here, and it's going to be vastly expanding over time. So inside of the OpenAI Academy, you'll need to sign in. It's completely free. You would then go to communities in the top left. You'll go down and you can join the K-12 education community, or if you're an admin or district leader, you can join that community. We will have tons of consistent content in here. We also have a third one for IT and technical staff. And we're going to be posting lots of content in these communities, giving people ways to connect and further engage with us. So I want to thank everybody so much for your time today. Again, I'm Sam Cannon-Kaplan, and we hope that today was helpful. This will be recorded and shared with you inside of the Academy. So make sure, again, you join one of those communities. And thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time. I'm Sam. Thanks.